I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback out of Clemson that is entering the 2021 NFL draft. A lot of people believe that Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in this draft class, and a lot of people, including myself, believe he is a generational talent, okay? I've said in the past Trevor Lawrence is awesome. I've said he's worthy of the number one overall pick, and a big reason why is because his floor is incredibly high along with his ceiling, meaning if Trevor Lawrence, for whatever reason, doesn't become a top 5 to a top 10 quarterback like he projects to become based off of his talent, I still believe Trevor Lawrence is going to be a well above average starting quarterback that can win you a lot of games and potentially a Super Bowl if things break right. I don't really see too many scenarios where Trevor Lawrence could become a bust. Sure, if he doesn't get the right head coach, sure, if the organization never supports him, Jacksonville does have a lot to prove as an organization, but bottom line, Trevor Lawrence is amazing. But what if Trevor Lawrence were to become a bust? What if he were to fail? What potentially could be the reason? That's what I'm going to talk about today. You know, Trevor Lawrence played at Clemson, okay? At Clemson, a college and a football program that right now is probably the best football program in America outside of Alabama. When you're at Clemson, you get the best coaching staff, you get A-plus facilities, you get great protection, you get star wide receivers, you get great running backs, you get a great defense. And like I said, Clemson, they're the second best college football program outside of Alabama. Trevor Lawrence played in 40 games in 3 years at Clemson, and he only lost 2 of those games. I'm willing to bet my money that by week number 4 of this upcoming season, Jacksonville is probably going to have at least 2 losses, okay? They're a rebuilding team, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have to overcome some things in Jacksonville, you know? And he's inheriting a team that only won 1 game this past year. So he's going from a top flight level college program to an organization that's been dysfunctional for the past decade for the most part. At least they've proven to be that. But I really don't have that big of a concern in that regard when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. I understand the reality of playing in Jacksonville is you're going to have a bad offensive line, a bad defense, and a rookie head coach, at least in your first year. And things initially won't be comfortable for Trevor Lawrence, okay? But I believe in Urban Meyer as a head coach. I think Trevor Lawrence has good wide receivers. I believe in James Robinson as a running back. And I think the Jaguars will have a chance to do some good things with all the draft picks they have. And I think Trevor Lawrence is talented enough to stay afloat for the first 2 to 3 seasons, despite having some, bad players and dysfunction around him. Kind of like Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, he wasn't wowing people in Detroit initially, but he was mature enough and talented enough to at least, steer the ship until Detroit became a better football team. Excuse me. So, my biggest concern for Trevor Lawrence isn't that can he overcome what's presented to him in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is actually an underrated football team, and I believe Trevor Lawrence is talented enough to overcome, some dysfunction, at least initially. I worry about what's inside of Trevor Lawrence, because at times Trevor Lawrence, he comes across as a little too casual to me. And recently, Trevor Lawrence came out and said, I don't have a chip on my shoulder, and I can't manufacture that. And his dad actually said in an interview with Sports Illustrated that Trevor Lawrence is not I want to win a Super Bowl at all costs type of quarterback. Those concerns bother me. And listen, if someone like Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones said that, they'd be getting crushed 24/7. I mean, Justin Fields, people came out and said Justin Fields has a terrible work ethic. And there was absolutely no proof of that at Ohio State. But because Trevor Lawrence is this Barbie doll for the media, they're going to gloss over this. But I'm not going to do that because, see, the greatest quarterbacks in the world are driven by something day in and day out. Tom Brady is constantly looking for motivation. Aaron Rodgers, constantly looking for motivation. Drew Brees was constantly trying to prove the doubters wrong. And to me, it's hard to find a quarterback out there that isn't finding some type of motivation every single day. And it just seems like Trevor Lawrence doesn't have the sense of urgency, at least initially. Maybe he can develop that sense of urgency, but he initially, as far as what we know today, it doesn't seem like he has the sense of urgency to be great like some of his contemporaries, you know. It's almost like I want Trevor Lawrence to treat every game and every play like it's his last. And maybe I'm being too crucial to Trevor Lawrence, but that's what I want for my star quarterback. And maybe Trevor Lawrence is totally wired differently, you know, and this might be hard for Trevor Lawrence because the reality is he's never really truly had to face a ton of adversity. From high school to college, he had great players around him. He was winning. He's been winning games. He's been coddled. He's had great, like I said, great players around him. The media's always been pumping him up. And he's had the good life so far, I would say. But what's going to happen when the Jacksonville Jaguars media turns on Trevor Lawrence and criticizes him for having a bad stretch? What if the offensive line isn't blocking very well and Trevor Lawrence is getting hit every single play? Is he going to just lay down and say, oh, well, the offensive line is not blocking today. Well, we're going to lose this playoff game. We're going to lose this game today. It's not our year to win a Super Bowl. Or is Trevor Lawrence going to fight back? Is he going to continue to play through adversity? Okay, because in the NFL, when it comes to the big games and the playoffs, it's all about overcoming adversity. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Peyton Manning, you know, those guys often were better when they were trailing in games. It brought the best out of them. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. At times, Patrick Mahomes, sometimes he plays better when trailing because there's a sense of urgency. There's a joy to his game. And he's a guy that's not going to bail. He's going to fight to the whistle blows, okay? And the National Football League requires a whole different amount of commitment and maturity. And I think Trevor Lawrence has the maturity down, but I'm not sure if Trevor Lawrence has the drive that's going to make him become as great as he could potentially be. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm just going to say right now, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a satisfying number 1 overall pick. However, if he were to fail, those are the reasons why that might potentially be. Sure, the organization might not help him. Sure, you know, sometimes if quarterbacks don't get developed properly, they flop, but I don't really worry about that too much. But the bottom line is I have questions about Trevor Lawrence, not from a talent perspective, but the intangibles is what I need to see if he has at the NFL level. We'll see if he does. I'm excited to find out. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.